Hello everyone, I'm Lily Louie from Channel Marketing at Promise Technology, and I'll be the moderator for today's webinar. Feel free to submit all your questions via chat during the webinar, and we'll address them during our Q&A at the end of the presentation. Also, you will be receiving a survey link after the webinar. Fill it out and you'll receive a Starbucks gift card. Now let's get started. Welcome to our Storage Solutions for End-to-End 4K Workflow webinar. Our speaker today is Victor Pacheco, Director of Field Applications Engineering and Support for Promise Technology. Thank you all for joining. I'll let Victor take it from here.
Hello everybody, my name is Victor Pacheco. I'm the Director of Field Applications Engineering and Support for Promise Technology. Thank you all for joining today's webinar, and for those of you watching our archive version, thanks for checking it out. We hope you find this informative and enlightening. So let's get started. Multi-user collaboration can lead to performance bottlenecks and exponential growth and storage capacity needs. These demands are going to be getting bigger and bigger as 4K and 8K content creation becomes more mainstream. Combined with the fact that we live in a mobile-driven world, we're on location, we work remotely, we have teams that are spread around the world. Professionals have to maximize our schedules by minimizing latency issues while maximizing the usability of your storage devices and overall workflow. Today we're going to take a look at highlights and some of the pain points that broadcast and post-production environments will continue to face during new storage solution deployments. We'll also take a look at how end-to-end storage solutions minimize these common issues so as to create a more efficient work environment. First, a little bit about my story and Promise's story. I've worked in the storage industry for a while now, and I've seen Promise flourish in many market segments. We launched the first Thunderbolt 1 and 2 solutions with Apple back in 2011 and 13, and we're the only Apple-qualified SAN vendor with the V-Track series. Promise serves the following markets: media and entertainment, education, cloud infrastructure, government, data centers, and IT. What's especially important to take note of is that regardless of the market segment, Promise storage applies to any video-centric environment requiring an end-to-end workflow solution. So what are some of the trends that are driving storage needs in broadcast and post-production? As most of us know, consumers are driving the 4K evolution. They want better picture with higher resolution. They want to see more detail, such as the facial expression of their favorite athlete after he or she just made the game-winning point. They want to see whether the tip of the football crossed the goal line or not. This is very important stuff, serious business. In addition to sports broadcasting, 4K stream content is going to continue to grow. We're already seeing Amazon, Netflix, and YouTube with 4K offerings. So the spread of 4K is imminent for a number of reasons. We're not just shooting 4K for future-proofing, but distribution is getting there. We're talking about top-tier edge broadcasts coming very soon. The 2016 Olympics in Rio, the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. Those are just a couple of broadcast examples that are driving storage and workflow needs. We're all going to need more powerful, scalable, and cost-effective storage to ingest, edit, deliver, and archive data at this massive scale. So what does this mean exactly? How do we prepare ourselves for the shift to 4K? We're talking about 4K-ready infrastructure. And as the broadcasting industry moves towards supporting 4K, storage infrastructure must be set up and properly installed to support this shift. Off-site, on-site work. This shift will also impact off-site and on-site work completed in 4K. Projects created in high resolutions require storage units which ingest and transfer data at Thunderbolt 2 speeds. Focusing on creating portable and versatile storage allows for a non-interrupted workflow for groups that put high value on their time to broadcast. So a storage device capable of performing these tasks is the Pegasus 2, which delivers the world's first true Thunderbolt 2 prosumer RAID for high-performance 4K video editing. HD broadcasting. Before broadcasting, groups must create the raw content, ingest it, and then collaboratively edit it. Products which excel across these workflows include the V-Track A-Class and Soundlink 2 series, ensuring full compatibility with media asset management products like Fork Production, Axle, and CatDV enables smarter media asset management and content distribution capabilities. Centralized storage. Centralizing your workflow allows for a streamlined, simpler, and more effective approach in high-performance data environments. Promise offers these end-to-end solutions, from single-user Pegasus 2 devices for ingesting and editing to powerful, fully integrated SAN storage in-studio solutions with an optional NAS gateway. Promise can manage the centralization of your workflow. Again, it's ideal for post-production and broadcasting. Scalability and performance. Currently, HD broadcasting is mainstream. As the proliferation of 4K broadcasting strengthens, the V-Track series offers full fiber channel bandwidth with optional 10 gigabit Ethernet NAS connectivity. These speeds are reached by leveraging Soundlink 2 series. Technology like this helps pave the future for 4K and beyond. So let's talk about new storage deployment pain points. In the past, you've likely dealt with various vendors to complete your storage solution requirements. It was similar to building a puzzle, but the pieces came from different boxes. Though I won't mention just yet the file system vendor, there's a good chance you know who I'm talking about right now. In this configuration, your metadata storage may reside on the metadata server side or on the SAN storage. I'm talking about XSAN, StoreNext, MetaSAN, etc. For setups on even a small scale, you're commonly told to purchase a fiber channel switch. That's expensive. Then you think, well, what am I going to do about my NAS gateway for Ethernet connectivity to the fiber channel SAN? Will I be able to ingest and edit across the Ethernet? What does this configuration look like for these setups, you ask? They're painful. Plus, some come with an ugly Java web-based interface. Even the CLI is complex to deal with. Ease of use and a simple setup is nowhere to be found. So then the uncertainty comes and you're left to think, what other issues will the future hold when I piecemeal my entire storage workflow? To top it off, the configuration requires extra rack space, which costs more money, since it consumes more energy, which in turn costs more money. Did I mention the lack of extended ACL support that you've grown accustomed to with XSAN? Forget the high expense, all of this just gets really complicated. Who do you call for support? Support's typically not included. Okay, so it's complicated. Multiple vendors, bad interfaces, lack of support. Let's simplify everything. Imagine a SAN storage that can offer a simple and easy setup, and that's managed from a single management web-based GUI. Imagine an all-in-one box that comes equipped with primary and secondary metadata controllers, metadata storage, SAN storage, a fiber channel switch, and an optional NAS gateway. Now, there's no need for mandatory professional service installations because a built-in setup wizard does it all, and it comes fully optimized for audio and video, which eliminates the need to explore settings options. Simply set it and forget it. It's that easy. Even extended ACL support is there. You can easily migrate from XSAN without a hitch, while honoring existing Open Directory and Active Directory multi-user and group attributes. Imagine this product comes with 3 years standard on-site parts replacement and shipping is covered both ways. Imagine you gain access to an intuitive support portal and a 24/7 support with free software updates. All of your questions can be funneled to one dedicated support team instead of multiple vendors. This sounds great, doesn't it? Integrating storage solutions leads to significant cost savings. When you've got a modular system that's tightly integrated, you've got less rack space, which means less energy consumption, being that there are no external components. Plus, no cables means cleaner airflow with fewer points of failure in a fully redundant system. Again, this is all about end-to-end simplified workflow, and Promise offers solutions for a range of work environments. For off-site and on-site single-user projects, the Pegasus 2 series offers ingest and edit capabilities at Thunderbolt 2 speeds. When you're ready to edit back in the studio, our SAN and NAS solutions open up collaboration capabilities when connected to a Soundlink 2, leveraging 16 gigabit fiber channel or 10 gigabit Ethernet speeds. For entry-level compressed workflows, the Vestare 2600 Pro series really relieves the pressure off of budgetary constraints. During enterprise-class post-production and broadcast deployment stages, the V-Track A class excels by increasing performance while scaling out to petabyte levels. The V-Track series may also be leveraged for content distribution and archiving, but for archive at petabyte levels, you want to use the V-Sky A series to complete the workflow. This makes our series of products the true all-in-one solution for every workflow stage. So the current shift from HD to 4K is the perfect time to explore a new end-to-end storage workflow solution. Centralizing your storage solution ensures higher productivity at lower costs, and Promise Technology is uniquely positioned to deliver just that. If you'd like to learn more, please visit our website at www.promise.com. Thank you all so much for attending today's webinar. We'll now move on to our Q&A. We're getting a few questions submitted by chat here, so I'm just going to read and then dive into some answers. Okay, our first question is, we see Ethernet being used more and more for video. How does it compare to fiber channel? Good question. Fiber channel has its place, and you'll still need it for uncompressed workflow, low latency requirement being the reason why. For a larger scale compressed workflow, you want to be able to scale out. However, we're starting to see more and more 10 gigabit Ethernet connectivity, not just at the server level, but at the workstation side. For example, our Vestare 2600 Pro, our NAS solution, you can actually connect using our Soundlink 2 10 gigabit Ethernet adapter to be able to edit and ingest with up to 7 to 10 simultaneous NAS connected clients. And for the larger setups, like 10 or more workstations, I'm talking about hybrid setups with the vTrack A-Class with NAS G1100 for leveraging either fiber channel or Ethernet. There you can go either way. It's a great question. Thanks so much for that question. The next question. Where can I find performance data sheets for both the NAS G1100 and the vTrack A-Class? It's another great question, very specific, and we'll show you. So you can actually go to our website, www.promise.com, and if you go to our project pages, we have the data points published for all products. You go to Solutions, Post-Production and Broadcasting, Related Products, then click on the vTrack A-Class, and if you go to Resources, Documents, go to the Application Notes. Here you'll find not just the sequential throughput, read and write, etc., but we're actually publishing the topology and how we obtain performance data. And we have data points and bandwidth requirement. This is usable ingest, usable playback, and usable ingest playback mix. We have for single head and also for an A-Class with expansion, and we share the topology again of how it was all configured so that you know exactly how we test. The same applies for the NAS G1100. Just look for the resource page for the product and look for application notes. Okay, here's a question. It came in. I think this is about one of the earlier slides. And it says, why is your background system showing a linear editing system? It's actually a good question, and it shows you're paying attention. So that's great. So what we're actually showing is just a kind of a workflow environment, an end-to-end workflow environment. And we're just trying to convey that we're offering an end-to-end workflow solution for storage in this video-centric workspace. So for single users, we're using Pegasus. For a NAS type entry-level environment, we recommend the Vestare 2600 Pro. And the vTrack A-Class, which can be leveraged either for broadcast or post-production, offers both worlds, Ethernet connectivity at 10 gigabit connections and fiber channel connectivity. Then over here for backup and archiving, you can leverage our vTrack series and vSky. All right, let's move on to the next question. Is there any device or adapter that can be used from fiber vTrack to a workstation Mac Pro or iMac via Thunderbolt? Absolutely, definitely. Promise actually offers a series of interconnect adapters called Soundlink, and we offer fiber and Ethernet, whether it's optical or copper, and these are Thunderbolt 2 speeds. This is currently a second generation product. The most recent offering is the 16 gigabit fiber Soundlink 2. All right, next question. This is a similar question. Is there an integrated card for the vTrack with Thunderbolt connectivity? I believe you're asking if we have a subsystem that offers Thunderbolt connectivity. Today we do not, but that's great feedback and we'll take it back to the team. Next question. Okay. Can I use the Vestare 2600 Pro for a 20-seat NAS for ingesting and editing video? All right, so the Vestare 2600 Pro is ideal for file sharing. It's a NAS solution ideal for working in real-time compressed workflows. We specifically tested with Final Cut Pro and Premiere. It can support up to 22 streams of ProRes. So if you go to our site, you can find data points on it. Again, that's 22 streams of ProRes 422HQ at 2997 frames per second. We can also do 6 streams of 4K ProRes 4444, 10-bit Quad HD, 3840 by 2160 at 24 frames a second. So the product is ideal for up to 10 active NAS clients for ingest and playback. And I'm not talking about just transferring data, we're talking about really using it for ingesting and editing without dropping a single frame. So if you need a solution for a larger deployment, you need more bandwidth, you're working with uncompressed content, and you have more than that, I'd probably recommend our vTrack A-Class with the optional NAS gateway so that you can scale out your SAN. At that point, you're no longer a boutique though. You're probably a post-production house or a broadcasting station with greater than 10 plus, fiber connected or NAS clients. Good question. Next question. Where in the workflow do I add the Red, Rocket, or other GPX cards? So in the workflow we're showing here, we're not depicting the workstation side or the transcoding. We're not covering the servers for your MAM or anything like that. So the majority of our customers understand that on the ingest side, you leverage one of these types of adapters, whether it's AJA or Blackmagic, etc., etc. I hope that answers your question. Okay, here's a very specific question. This is great. This is why we're doing this webinar. Okay, so this person asks, I work for an education institution, and we'd like to share the vTrack along 10 computers. Is it a point-to-point protocol connection? Okay, first of all, the vTrack series started with the vTrack X10, which has a total of 4 ports, 2 per controller. Then we have the vTrack X30 series, which has a total of 8 fiber channel ports, 4 per controller. And now we have the vTrack A-Class, which is our shared SAN with an embedded file system solution. So with the vTrack X30 or with the vTrack A-Class, you can have point-to-point connections, but you are limited to the number of ports. So you have 8 ports. I'd recommend some redundancy, so at least 2 paths per workstation. So in the scenario here where you have 10 fiber-connected clients, you'd probably need a fiber channel switch. For smaller setups, you can get away without a fiber channel switch. I hope that answers your question. Quick follow-up to that question, our attendee asks, so we'll need to set up a NAS system? Okay, so if you're working with vTrack or block storage, and I don't know if it's a local file system you're using, whether it's Windows, Linux, Mac, or it's an XSAN distributed file system, if you're not talking about the vTrack A-Class, you could probably leverage some type of workstation to reshare, but from a manageability standpoint, it comes a little complicated and kind of a kludge solution because you're using multiple vendor components. Whereas if you're using the vTrack A-Class, you could use our optional NAS gateway. That allows you to scale out and have some redundancy. There's no single point of failure from the vTrack to the NAS gateway. Also, it's monitored and managed from the same web-based interface. But if you're using block storage, vTrack X10 or vTrack X30 series, and you'd have to resort, depending on whether it's a Mac, Windows, or Linux, you'd set up some sort of reshare. I don't know whether it's NFS, SMB, AFP, but that would be the only way to go. Okay, so he says it's a Mac system. So yeah, you'd probably reshare using some type of Mac Mini or a Mac Pro. You could leverage our Soundlink 10 gigabit Ethernet adapter to reshare upstream on your NAS network. Okay, here's another specific question. This is great. Somebody asks, we use the red weapon in-house. It's all we shoot with, and we're a Mac-only house. Can A-Class play back red raw 6K footage framed in real time? If so, how many streams will we be able to play back simultaneously? Okay, so we'd need to know exactly the bandwidth per the stream. Are we talking 24 frames, 30 frames? If you can tell me how many megabits, that'd be great. It varies, but definitely the A-Class has enough bandwidth capability to address what I'm guessing you're talking about. If you're interested, we can offer a specific solution, and we can have one of our senior field application engineers do some consulting, and we'd be more than happy to prescribe a working solution for your workflow. Okay, so it's 880 megabits. Okay, yes, we can definitely handle that, absolutely. So although we don't test that exact codec, you can compare it to one of our tested codecs on our page. If you go to application notes for the product that I highlighted earlier, you can look up and compare. And, to us, basically, bandwidth is bandwidth. And of course, we do a lot of prefetching to make sure we don't drop frames. All right, we'll move on to the next question. Is the Soundlink 2 adapter Thunderbolt 2 16 gigabit fiber and 10 gig or 1 gig E? So the Soundlink 2 adapter comes in different flavors. The first revision was Thunderbolt 1 4 gigabit fiber channel. Then we released the Thunderbolt 2 8 gigabit fiber channel. Then the Thunderbolt 2 16 gigabit fiber channel. And we offer Thunderbolt 2 10 gigabit, which is backwards compatible with 1 gigabit as well. But if that's the case, you probably want to use your onboard gigabit Ethernet connectivity on your host. And on the Ethernet side, we offer both optical and copper. A lot of specifics there, but I hope that answers your questions. Okay, here's another question. Is there an application and performance notes for the Vestare 2600 Pro? I couldn't find the datasheet in the resource tab. Okay, good. That's a really good catch. We dropped the ball on that. I'm going to show you where it's at, and we'll have it moved to the resource page as soon as possible. So back to your question, you can actually find most of the performance and configuration notes for all of our products on the KB knowledge base website, which is kb.promise.com. And there you can look up whatever product you're looking for. In this case, it's the R2600 Pro, which happens to be in our latest articles list on the very top page. It's knowledge base article 10427, VEST R2600 Pro, Performance and Configuration. It's also a good opportunity to show you where we keep all of our technical content. You're able to find it under promise.com/support/training. You can find all of our videos here, and we'll be adding the Vestare 2600 Pro Level 1 training series very soon. The videos are great. There's even an exam after you watch, which is a prerequisite for the Level 2 training. If you didn't know, we offer Level 2 advanced training courses here on site at our Milpitas, California headquarters, and we can also do on-site customer training for resellers or end customers. And this looks like the last question. Another very specific question, which is great. That's why we're doing these webinars. The attendee asks, we have an existing building, but we're moving to a new building. Can you offer support or design for a VTrack A class that'll work in both the existing and future facility? Of course, definitely talk to us. So if you're an end customer, you can talk to a reseller. If you'd like, you can also call our sales line directly. We have dedicated field application engineers that can architect a solution for you. This is what we've been talking about the whole webinar, which is we want to offer end-to-end workflow solution, and that includes design all the way to delivery, setup, and support. All right, so that wraps up our Q&A session. Thank you all so much for your questions and for attending the webinar. Please don't forget to fill out the survey, which you will receive in a follow-up email. If you fill it out, you'll receive a free Starbucks gift card. On behalf of everyone at Promise, thank you all for attending. We hope we can work with you on your solution.